Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Monday, 31 March. I'm your host Daniel, and today we'll be covering Marie Le Pen has been found guilty of embezzlement. The Kremlin says Putin remains open to talks with Trump, and Iran's leader Khamenei vows retaliation if Trump threat enacted. So firstly, Marie Le Pen, the leader of France's far-right National Rally Party, has been banned from holding public office for 5 years after being found guilty of misusing €3 million in European funds intended for parliamentary assistance. Alongside the ban, she received a 4-year prison sentence, 2 years to be spent on house arrest, and 2 years suspended sentence. The court found that Le Pen and her party used EU funds to pay domestic staff in France between 2004 and 2016 in violation of EU rules. Le Pen, who denies all wrongdoing, framed the case as a political attack designed to end her career, warning that it could silence the voices of millions who support her. The ruling poses a major threat to Le Pen's political future, as it bars her from the 2027 presidential race, where she is a prominent contender. Her party and allies described the verdict as judicial overreach, drawing comparisons to the legal battles faced by figures such as Donald Trump. Some politicians, including the French Prime Minister, raised concerns about the court's influence in electoral outcomes. While the National Rally president is seen as her possible successor, his appeal is thought to be far less than Le Pen's. The court also convicted 8 other National Rally members and 12 parliamentary assistants. Reactions abroad were polarised, with Russia and Hungary criticising the ruling as undemocratic, while some in France emphasised the importance of respecting the judicial process. So what? This case and the reactions to it reveal a lot about the current state of politics around the world, where political figures can frequently use various excuses to justify being charged with crimes, regardless of the evidence against them. One potential way to clarify the situation would be for the court to make key pieces of evidence public, thereby avoiding confusion. This could help prevent hostile forces from using the ruling to fuel propaganda. Regardless, it is nearly certain that the situation will be used to discredit the French government, something that they likely anticipated and are prepared for. And next, the Kremlin stated on Monday that Russian President Vladimir Putin remains open to speaking with US President Donald Trump despite recent tensions over the ongoing war in Ukraine. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov acknowledged that while no phone call is currently scheduled, communication between the two leaders could be swiftly arranged as necessary. He attributed the delay in progress towards a ceasefire to the complexity of the issues at hand, but emphasized that Putin had not closed the door on dialogue with Trump. The comments came after Trump, in a televised interview, expressed strong frustration with Putin, where he sees as a lack of movement towards peace in Ukraine. Trump said he was very angry following Putin's recent remarks questioning the legitimacy of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's leadership. In addition to verbal criticism, Trump threatened to economic retaliation, warning that he may impose secondary tariffs ranging from 25 to 50% on countries that purchase Russian oil, should Moscow continue to be an obstacle in his push to end the conflict. So what? This is highly likely just another part of Putin's game to delay negotiations and continue his war in Ukraine. As I've said in the past, Russia likely has no interest in actually achieving the peace agreement anymore, and likely just wants to appease Trump and avoid further sanctions. Additionally, any further sanctions, especially ones that target secondary buyers of Russian oil, are Russia's worst nightmare during a time when their economy is already struggling. This would push countries such as India to possibly rethink their efforts as one of Russia's largest oil importers. And lastly, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei issued a stern warning that any military attack on Iran would provoke a powerful response, following recent threats by US President Donald Trump In a televised interview, he warned of bombing Iran if it failed to agree to the terms regarding its nuclear program, a proposal he said that was outlined in a letter to Khamenei sent early March. Speaking during his Eid al-Iftar ceremony, Khamenei said that while such an attack seems unlikely, any aggression would be met with a strong blow. He also warned that internal destabilization attempts would be handled by the Iranian people themselves, referring to the past unrest which Iranian authorities blame on Western interference. The Iranian Foreign Ministry echoed and amplified Khamenei's message, with a spokesperson condemning Trump's comments as a direct threat to global peace and security. He warned that the US must be ready to face the consequences should it pursue a violent course. Trump revived maximum pressure policy, which includes economic sanctions and military threats, has further strained relations between the two countries. His decision to withdraw from the 2015 nuclear deal in 2018 led to Iran to exceed its uranium enrichment limits set by the agreement. Although the current president stated Tehran is an open to indirect talks, direct negotiations remain off the table per Khamenei's directive. So what? While it is likely that Iran has significant firepower capable of striking US allies such as Israel, it seems unlikely that they maintain the capabilities to effectively conduct strikes on the US mainland. If the US was to conduct strikes against Iran, they would likely be designed to cripple Iranian ability to strike back, especially against allies in the region. It is also likely that the US and Israel, using satellite imagery and advanced intelligence equipment, are aware of almost all Iranian missile launch sites, meaning they would be able to conduct strategic strikes to cripple any counterattack. Though it is unlikely that this will ever eventuate, it is still crazy to see such intense rhetoric on the public stage. The one move that Iran could pull is by cutting off any oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, thereby restricting the world's oil supply quite significantly, causing significant economic damage to the world's economy. Thank you for tuning in to the Intel Brief, your daily update on global geopolitics, brought to you by HM Intelligence. You can support the show by sharing it with your friends and leaving us a 5-star review. And if you're interested in learning more about intelligence, why not check out one of our courses in the description below. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you next time.